My body is in love with the soul, and the soul is in love with my body. I open my arms to
Frustrating. There we go.
and love embraced me like a lover.
So it's day 3. We're going to talk a bit about universal laws.
I am in love with love, and love is in love with me. My body is in love
Chicken
with
pecking
the
my feet.
soul, and the soul is in love with my body.
So we're talking about universal laws. So as I talked about the other day, I read The Secret a few years ago, and it's kind of like gives the impression that like just ask for what you want and you'll get it. And I could get the occasional parking space and all that kind of thing, but like most people, I kind of thought, oh, the law of attraction doesn't work for me. That's for other people, doesn't work for me. But here's the thing, and I should also point out that I can't remember if I mentioned this the other day, but like 20 odd years ago, I didn't believe in any of this stuff. I didn't believe in spirituality. I didn't believe in Reiki, energy, any of that kind of stuff. And I used to be the typical glass half empty kind of person. And life is tough and And I struggled with depression on and off since the age of 14. I had an eating disorder for 15 years. I used to self-harm when I was younger. Strange reference. I was a heroin addict by the time I was 21. So I've been through quite a lot in life, and I honestly believe now that a lot of that life is one big universal assignment. We are here to learn, to expand, to grow. We go to school, but all we really learn in school is how to remember facts and figures. Because let's face it, most of the stuff we learned in school we don't use anymore. We're not taught how to live. We're not taught how to be. And we kind of, most of us, for 99% of us, we are kind of brainwashed into believing that life follows a particular format, and that's how it is, which is like you go to school, you work hard, you get good grades, you get a job, you work hard in that job to earn your money, to buy your house, to get married, to have the children. To earn more money, you have to work harder, work more hours. And you save up money so that when you retire after 40, 56 years of working, then maybe you can go out and have a bit of fun. And that's how life is. Yet there are people out there who are living what we would call a dream. It kind of occurred to me the other day, I thought, how ridiculous is it that we spend so much of our lives working, and most of the time, a lot of people don't really like their job, and we spend most of our time working, doing a job that we don't particularly enjoy, merely to earn enough money to survive. And when you start thinking about it, that does not make sense whatsoever. That we were gifted life and this whole universe, whole earth, whole universe, that we were gifted all of this merely to survive, merely to maybe look forward to the weekend or look forward to a holiday, that kind of thing. It doesn't make sense. When you really start thinking about it, it does not make sense at all. And the reason that 1 to 3% of the population control 99% of the world's wealth, the world's power, is because they don't abide by the same rules as us. People with money, they either have a big business idea and they constantly expand their business. So business people, they are always thinking of the next thing. Businesses at the minute are already planning what they're doing for next year's summer campaign. They know what they're doing for Christmas, know what they're doing for next year's summer campaign. So they're already thinking ahead into the future. They're constantly doing things like, they do one campaign, they're already thinking about the next thing. Whereas most of us, we're just focusing on today. We're just focusing on getting through today. And I've been there. I've done it. Totally. I've done it. We're not thinking far ahead in the future. And the other way that a lot of people have made their money, a lot of the kind of new rich, are people who are doing something they're passionate about. So like singers, artists, actors, that kind of thing. And a lot of them, a lot of these overnight successes actually were working for years before they actually saw success. I mean, a lot of singers, songwriters, people like Ed Sheeran were doing things like busking, working, doing a gig in a pub to like 2 or 3 people way back when they first started. Imagine now Ed Sheeran performing in a pub for 2 people. It just wouldn't happen. But they are passionate about what they do. They are absolutely passionate about what they do. Whereas most of us, we just see what's right in front of us. The job and the fact that if we want to earn more money, we have to work more hours or we have to be promoted. With that comes more responsibility. And that just doesn't seem to make sense at all, that we've been gifted this life only to enjoy a small part of it. When you look at it that way, it doesn't make sense. And here's why so many people are resentful of those with money or of those who work less. If you hear of someone who only works like 8 hours a week, most of us would think, oh, they're lazy. Aren't they lazy? Rather than, and I would have been one of them too. At one time, I would have been the same, kind of thinking, oh, that must be lazy. Whereas now I would think, wow, fantastic, you've got it sussed. If you can earn enough in those 8 hours a week to live and to do what you want, absolutely fucking epic. But because we've had it drummed into us that life should be hard work, we should work hard, and play is something that we do when we aren't busy working or aren't busy sleeping. And that just doesn't make sense. When you think of children, healthy, happy children, they see life as an adventure. They get up every morning excited to see what the new day holds. They love to play, they love to explore. I mean, I remember as a child, I was an only child for a long time. I remember going out and about. I used to go for walks with my dog, and I would literally go off into my own dream world. I would spend hours out in my own imagination. I'd go on adventures in my own imagination. I'd love playing with my Cindy dolls. I'd love playing with Lego. And it's like we lose that along the way somewhere because we get caught up in this bullshit lie that we need to work hard. You should be working the 9 to 5 or even longer. How many people compete with each other, see who can do much overtime, see who can stay at work the longest, getting praise for doing more and more work and having less and less time for pleasure. And it's no wonder so many of us are ill, are stressed out, are miserable, unhappy, because we're thinking, well, I've got all the things that is supposed to make me happy. Meredith, my chicken's got in the front room. I've got all these things that are supposed to make me happy. I mean, how many people do you hear of who work all their life and they save up and they plan to travel the world when they retire, and yet within a few months of retiring, one of them's died because it's too fucking late? And I believe now that so much of the conflict of the kind of stress, anxiety, depression that so many of us experience nowadays, I honestly believe now it is because our soul is kind of screaming out that life doesn't have to be that way, that we've got it wrong, that we're prioritizing the wrong things. We're prioritizing having designer clothes or having our house look better than the next door neighbors. We make it our aim to have our own house, and yet really when you think about it, one, not many of us will actually pay for that house nowadays. The house prices, we will be renting it from the bank for the rest of our lives pretty much. And two, we don't actually own a thing. We may think we do, but we cannot dig up this piece of earth and pick it up and take it with us. And we cannot take it with us when we die. And yet we get caught up with this thing that our aim in life is to own things, is to own possessions, is to have this, is to have the latest phone, the newest car, those kind of things, when actually it's moments that matter. Because if we'd got it right, if what we'd been told was right, then we would all be happy. There would be no stressed people. We would all be happy and joyful and loving life. But the fact is we're not. You walk around or you get on the train if you commute into work and you see so many people, they're like shades of grey. It's like they're shades of grey. They're kind of tired, they're stressed, they're lethargic, or they can't wait till the weekend so they can go out and get drunk and kind of forget about the rest of the week. Whereas life should be an adventure every single day, the same as when we're children. That is what life is meant to be like. And if you think back to many, 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 many years ago, when we had a nomadic lifestyle, when we used to move around wherever the food was, we used to kill or forage what we ate. We'd use caves or whatever as shelter. We didn't own anything. And a lot of the kind of like native tribes, like Native American Indians, people like that, they know that they don't own anything. They are just borrowing. They are just visiting for a while. And it's like great white man comes along and says, right, I want this land, you now have to leave, despite the fact that Native American Indians have been there for years, living in harmony with nature. They take what they need. When they slaughter an animal, they blessed it, then they use every single part of the animal. There's no excess, there is no waste. Yet our lifestyle nowadays is wasteful, and we prioritize the wrong things. We're worrying about fashion and we're worrying about the latest gadget, and we throw away something that works perfectly well. I keep hold of things until they're like really no longer usable, because I can't stand throwing things away. If you walk down the street, 5 out of every 10 people are overweight to some degree or other, maybe by a stone, maybe by more than that. We are unhealthy. You go into any pharmacist and people are going in getting their bags of medication. We're stressed, we're unhappy, we're miserable, we're depressed, we're anxious, we are ill, and yet we live in a world of opulence. There are some cultures that would think I am a queen to live in this brick house, to have a roof over my head, to have running water, to have electricity, to have clean clothes to put on every day, to have food in the cupboard. A lot of people would see that as like living like royalty. And yet so many of us are like, well, I don't own my own house, my car's a bit tatty, blah, 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 blah. And we focus on what we don't have because we've bought into this bullshit that it's about having, getting. And that has been man's greatest downfall throughout history, his lust for power. And so the white man comes along and says to the Native American Indians who've been living there for years, this is mine, I want it. Alexander the Great decides, I want to take over the world, I'm going to kill anyone who gets in my way. And it's like that battle of dark and light, yin and yang. Because we are not meant to live that way. We are spiritual beings, and we cannot take anything with us when we go. We can't take possessions with us. It doesn't matter how much money we have, we cannot take it with us. It doesn't matter how big a house we have. One day we will end up being recycled back into Mother Earth. We are prioritizing the wrong things. And I honestly believe now, through my own experience, through struggling through depression, through deep meditation, through connecting with spirit guides, and through talking to lots of other people, talking to clients, etc. I honestly believe that a lot of our mental health issues nowadays are because our soulful self knows that there is more to life, that there is more to life than going to a job that we don't like, than staying in a relationship that doesn't make us happy, then trying to acquire possessions. This is why I don't care about owning a house. I'll probably never own my own house, and I really don't care because I cannot take it with me when I go. When we own a house, or we think we own it, we're just renting it, because like I say, you can't dig it up and move it. We're actually kind of tying ourselves, anchoring ourselves to one spot, and it's actually like a millstone around our neck. We thought, well, I'll save it for the kids, when I leave, they can leave the kids, blah, 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 blah. But what if we prioritize the wrong things? What if you look at those people who have got all the money, who are living the life they dream of? They focus on what makes them happy. They don't focus on doing the right thing. They don't focus on slaving away at a 9 to 5. They focus on what makes them happy. And too many of us have got stuck into this idea of we've got to be good, we've got to do the right thing, we've got to worry about what other people think, where actually our only responsibility in this lifetime is to focus on us, because everything has a ripple effect. And we'll talk about that in a second. Because this ties in with the law of attraction, which is only one of the universal laws. I used to think, and I'm sure a lot of people think, that the law of attraction was like it, that was it, the only one. But there's hundreds of universal laws. And all creation is governed by laws, universal principles, if you like. I mean, there's one that we all know and we can't argue with, is the law of gravity. The law of gravity. It doesn't just work for me or for Felix, it works for everyone. Or the law of cycles. Cycles as in seasons. Spring, summer, winter, night, day, sleep, wake. You know, we don't just have spring for one person. It happens to all of us. It might happen in different time zones. You know, Australia may have their winter at a different time, but we all have seasons. Okay, so global warming has made it a bit skew-iffy, but we all have the season. The tide comes in, and as the tide comes in one part of the world, it's come out of another part of the world because the water is just pulled this way, and then vice versa. As the sun rises in one part of the world, the moon is up in the other part of the world. It's all cycles. But we know that when the moon appears, sooner or later the sun will appear again. We know that day will turn into night. So they are universal principles. In other words, the law of attraction, just like any other universal law, doesn't just work for one person. It works for everybody. It's just, and we're using it all the time. We just don't realize it. So a few examples of universal laws, and these are in no particular order. The law of action, which means that no matter how much we want something, no matter how much we think about something, no matter how much we desire something, no matter how much faith we have in something, nothing happens without action. So I could look at a big boulder on top of a hill and I could want it to go down that hill. I could like visualize it rolling down the hill. Nothing's going to happen until someone gives it a bit of a shove. And that's another universal law as well, the law of momentum, which is that once something is in motion, it creates momentum, because we tend to be very egocentric, and I am too. We all get like it. And we only think about ourselves, how our actions affect ourselves. But everything affects other people. Like, for example, say like the other morning, I was at the field and I didn't have much time. Something happened. One of my ponies got the electric fencing stuck around his head. He galloped off, pulled the whole thing out. And I had a moment of, oh, for fuck's sake. And instantly I was like, right, okay, I need to be calm, because getting stressed, getting wound up is not going to help. It's not going to help at all. I'll get clumsy and blah, 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 blah. So I stayed calm as I untangled it, put it all back up. Blah, blah, blah. Because of that, by the time I got home, I was running late. So I thought it was like about 9:25 and my class started at 9:30. So I was like, okay, I'll just log in so that everyone knows I'm here while I get changed. To find I was logged out of my Zoom app and I couldn't remember my password. So that meant having to remember my email password, go into that, change my password, and so I finally got to it by about 1 minute to go. Now, had I allowed myself to be angry still at the field, I would have probably taken longer to do what I needed to do. I could have then been driving back like an absolute maniac. I could have cut some people up, which would then cause them to be pissed off and in a bad day. Or I could have cut someone else up. They could have done something which could have caused an accident that I would be completely unaware of. By the time I would have got home, had I stayed angry and to find out I'd been logged out of my thing, I would have had an absolute toddler tantrum. I'd have had a meltdown. Absolute meltdown. I know I would. I'd probably ended up throwing my phone, crying my eyes out, blah, blah, blah. So the course of the day hinged on my reaction, my choice, how to respond. Now, say I had stayed angry and then I had that meltdown, I may have like cancelled the class completely, because I'd be like, no, I can't do it. So therefore, my students wouldn't have had the awesome class I had that day. So then they may have been upset. Maybe they really, really needed it that day. They needed the emotional support. They didn't get that. So they took out their feelings on their families. See where I'm going with this? It's not just my actions. It affects so many other people. And this is how I learned to find it easier to accept money for my services. I used to really struggle accepting money. And this is another one of the bullshit lies we bought into. I used to struggle to accept money for teaching yoga because I loved doing it. Because I had bought into the bullshit lie that work should be hard. People don't enjoy work. No, it's something they do just to get by. Can't enjoy your work. That's just not on. So I struggled for so long because I thought, well, it's not essential. It's not like, life-saving. But actually, when I get people come up to me and say, do you know what? You really helped me through my cancer treatment. You really helped me through my divorce. You've really helped me through this and the other. And I started to see how much of an impact I have, not just on the person who's in front of me, that moment, but the impact, how they react with their family and the wider community. So if you are thinking of starting a business, or if you are someone who has gifts and you struggle to ask for money, especially people with spiritual gifts, people who do card readings, Reiki, that kind of thing, we tend to struggle. We tend to think, well, it's a gift, I should give it away. Bollocks. People are gifted at hairdressing. People are gifted at cooking. You don't go and get a free haircut. You don't go and get a free meal. When you have a positive impact on someone, you're not just impacting that person. You are impacting the wider community. Had I driven back like a maniac because I was angry, I could have pissed off a load of other drivers. They could have then gone into their place of work, pissed off and angry. There's a fucking woman on the road this morning. She was driving like an arsehole. Rah, 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 rah. They would have infected their workmates with their bad mood. It all ripple effect. Law of action and reaction. The law of ascension. This is kind of a spiritual law, a spiritual awakening. Basically, realizing that heaven is actually here on earth. We are here. We are all spiritual beings. We just haven't all realized it yet. We haven't all remembered yet. And our assignment, if you like, is to remember. Some people remember sooner rather than later. Some people are quite young when they start to remember. Some of us are older. So I wasn't until my maybe 30s, maybe a little bit later, before I really started getting into this, into what I call my spiritual awakening, the realization that I am a divine being, that life is one big universal assignment, that I'm here to learn. When I think of the things that I've been through, the drug addiction, the eating disorder, the self-harm, the sexual abuse, the exercise addiction, it's all taught me, it's all helped to shape me to become the person I am today. But so many of us get stuck in this, oh, why me? Oh, poor me. Oh, I've been dealt a bad hand in life. Bullshit. So many people, in fact, often we need that kick up the arse in order for us to grow. I would not know. I mean, this last 18 months alone, I told you some of what I've been through on Monday. I told you what I've been through. Had I not done the work that I've done, I would not have coped. But it has shown me that I am far more resilient than I realized. I would have never thought I could be able to cope and support myself, but I had to. I had no choice. I had no choice. And there are times in this life when the universe says, right, you don't realize quite how strong or resilient you are. You are not being the best version of yourself. You are far stronger. You could do so much more with your life than you're currently doing. So we're going to shake it up a little bit, because otherwise we just go along in life going, we just do just enough to get by. We do just enough to work, blah, blah, blah. We do just enough and no more. So many. You look at like the motivational speakers, you look at people like Oprah Winfrey, people like that who've been through trauma in their life, but it's made them who they are. People who've come from poverty, who've come from absolute poverty, and who are now rich and famous because they learnt. They didn't just get stuck in the, oh, why me? Oh, poor me. Oh, this is the way life is, blah, 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 blah. We need these challenges. We need this trauma, this, these things that happen in order for us to understand how freaking amazing we actually are. And also, I'm so much more compassionate than I would have been had I not gone through the things that I've gone through. So no matter what kind of trauma, no matter what heartbreak or whatever pain that you've been through, there is no thing that you cannot overcome. There is no thing that you will face in life that you are not ready for. To say, God, life, the universe doesn't give you anything that you cannot handle. And instead of thinking, oh, why me? Think, okay, what can I learn? What is this teaching me? What is this teaching me? So the law of ascension, and a lot of us don't ascend. And we just have to keep coming back to it again and again. The law of balance. Again, that kind of goes night and day, the tides, everything has to be in balance. You take from one place, it goes to another. Again, it's a universal law. The law of effect, I kind of talked about that. Every action has a reaction, like the ripple effect. The law of polarity, so everything has its opposite. We need good and evil, light and dark. We need it because we need that balance. We wouldn't know what good is if we didn't have bad, if we didn't have evil. And sometimes people who do bad things, as I said, it creates a situation where we begin to understand how powerful we are. Sexual assault, for example, and I have been sexually assaulted, so I kind of know. What if it was a life lesson in order to show you how strong you are, how much of a warrior you are? Because people can either get stuck in that, oh, life will never be the same, that's it, I'm damaged, no one will ever want me, and I totally get that, totally understand, it's not criticism. Or you get the other people that's like, right, I'm not going to let this dictate the rest of my life. I am not going to be a victim. And that was my attitude. I am not going to be a victim. I am not going to let this person or these people have a hold of me for the rest of my life. You get Elizabeth Smart, I think it was, who was kidnapped in America, and she was held captive for quite a few years. When she was released, I think it was her, but it was someone like her, one of the first things her mum said to her was, they have stolen 7 years, whatever it is, of your life so far. Do not let them steal another minute. In other words, this is day one of the rest of your life. There's no point sinking into depression, into, oh my God, this has happened. Da, da, da. It's happened. Get over it. Move on. So we often need the bad stuff in order to appreciate the good stuff. The law of rhythm, that's another one, like forces of nature, waves and tides, death and rebirth. I mean, you look at plants, for example, plants, they grow, they blossom for a while, then they go back down into the earth. They haven't disappeared. They've just changed form, ready to come back the following year, rise and fall. So the law of attraction, and this, it kind of like a lot of people, and I was included, kind of think of it as an ask and you'll get kind of thing, but it's not quite like that, because as I say, it didn't work for me, and I used to think the law of attraction doesn't work, I keep asking and it's not working. I've written out my check for £10,000 and it hasn't just magically dropped into my lap, it's not working, blah 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 blah. But as I say, it is a universal law, so it works for absolutely everyone, and it also is what affects the planets, all that kind of thing. It's basically like attracts like. If you think about the sayings, misery loves company, or everything happens in threes. And I'll tell you a little story as well. That day that I was just talking about, when the fence got pulled down and the phone logged out of Zoom and stuff like that, I had a thought of, oh, what else is going to go wrong? Because everything happens in threes, right? And as soon as I thought it, I thought, does it? Does it really? Or is it because we expect it to happen? So I was like, right, I'm going to stop that thinking right now. Because if I'm thinking what's going to happen next, I'm going to make something happen. So I stopped that thinking, nothing else happened. What we say, what we do, what we think, what we expect is often what we'll get. If you say it for the simplest terms, if you all say, I'm always late, I'm always late, I'm always late, it's like you're sending out a message I want to be late. I want to be late. I want to be late. Or this will never happen for me. That'll never happen for me. I'll never do X, Y, Z. And it becomes reality. A few years ago, I was teaching Les Mills. It's a pre-choreographed class. So it was like an hour's class. There was perhaps 10 tracks, so separate tracks. I had to learn the choreography to music, which was kind of a struggle for me. And we used to put on a launch, which was basically like a showcase. And we used to have 2 weeks to learn the whole thing. And for years, I said, no, I can't do it. I can't learn it in 2 weeks. It used to take me at least a month, 6 weeks to learn all those tracks well enough to teach them. And I kept saying no when they asked me. And then one day I thought to myself, hang on, I've kept saying I can't learn it in 2 weeks. And I've been right. So surely I can flip that on its head. And if I say I can do it, then I'll prove myself right. And once I said, yes, I can do it, I started to put more effort in. And I did it. And when I look back, I realized that I didn't put anywhere near as much effort in before. When I said I couldn't do it, I didn't put anywhere near as much effort in because I'd already convinced myself I couldn't. So why bother? I'd already convinced myself I couldn't do it, so why bother? The same as people who say they want a relationship and yet they go around slagging off men, or all men are useless, all men are thoughtless, all men are this, that and the other, don't know why I bother, blah, 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 blah. That is the law of attraction. If you had that kind of attitude, or all men are cheats, I always pick the wrong guy, you'll do one of two things, or you'll do both of them. You'll either repel men, so you won't have any relationships, or you'll attract the very thing you say you don't want. So you'll attract the guys that cheat on you. You'll attract the guys who are selfish, because that is the vibration, that is the thought that you're sending out. If you think of it like this, say you walk into a party, you don't know anyone there, they're all kind of new, and in one corner is someone who's like happy and smiling and having fun and chatting to people, and the other corner is someone who like looks really pissed off and is like, Who are you naturally going to gravitate towards, even though you don't know either of them? Most people, unless you're miserable and pissed off yourself, most people are going to naturally gravitate towards the person who is happy, lively, smiley, because we pick up on their vibrations. We're not going to gravitate. If we want to have a good time, we're not going to gravitate towards the person who looks pissed off, angry, unapproachable, who looks in a really bad mood, because we don't want to be brought down. We do not want to be brought down by their low vibrations. And this is happening in the universe constantly. If you go to work, I used to work in Norwich, and I counted once, I think there was like 16, 17 sets of lights between here and where I used to get to. And there was one day, and I was like, I kept saying all the way, every light's going to be green, every light's going to be green, every light is going to be green. And all bar two were green. Had I gone through, I'm going to catch every red light, I'm going to catch every red light, I'm going to catch every red light. Guess what you think would happen? You would catch every red light. Because everything we say, everything we do is sending out a vibration. And we need to be a vibrational match. So we need to be vibrating at the same frequency as the thing that we say we desire. So if you are saying you want a relationship and yet you have no room in your bedroom, you don't make time for a relationship, you're slagging off all guys, you are not going to attract what you say you want. You say you want a loving, caring guy who spends time with you and who does this, that, and the other, but you are not making that, you're not a vibrational match. You are not going to attract to, and say you're going to either repel or you're going to attract people who are selfish or who treat you badly. We need to be the vibrational match. And one of the best ways probably to demonstrate this with you is to go back to the homework I gave you on day one, where I said, write down your desires. Write down what you want in your life. putting aside possibilities, probabilities, putting aside your ego, imagining you could have, do, be absolutely anything at all, as if it was Christmas, and you knew without fail it's going to happen the next morning. I want you to close your eyes for a minute, and I want you to think of 2 things on your list. 2 things on your list. Doesn't matter what they are, doesn't matter. It's just a demonstration. So just think of 2 things on your list. So just close your eyes. As you close your eyes, just sense into your body. So you're aware of your body sitting on your chair. You're aware of your whole body from the top of your head all the way down to your toes. You're aware of your belly expanding as you breathe, your rib cage expanding. And just take a quick check-in as to how you're feeling right now. Noticing any sensations in the body, noticing any tension anywhere. Just noticing how the body is feeling. Imagine kind of going inwards, not just the muscles, tendons, bones, but like on an energetic level. And then again, think of at least 2 things on your list. So I want a pebble horse lorry. I want 10 new students every month. So there's 2 of mine. So whatever it is, you can say it out loud or in your head, however it feels. And notice how your body feels as you're saying that, as you're thinking to yourself, I want X, Y, Z, whatever it is. Again, just notice, might be subtle changes, might be no real change, but just notice. And now say to yourself those same 2 things, but say it in the present tense. Like for me, I have a purple horse lorry. I have 10 students signing up every month. So it could be, I am working if you want to create a business, if you're hoping to go into business, for example. I am running a thriving business. I am attracting 10 new clients. So instead of going from I want 10 new clients a month, I have 10 new clients a month. And keep repeating it and notice the change in your energy. Notice the change in your energy and notice how when you start to say I have or I am, you may start to get an image in your mind of you with your new clients, you with your horse box. Whereas before I want, maybe didn't quite get the same level of excitement. It may be subtle, it may just be that little hint of excitement, that little hint of, ooh, but notice the energetic shift simply from saying I want to I am or I have. And you can open your eyes again. And the feeling that you had when you say I am, and when you say I am signing up 10 new clients a month, you can start to visualize it. That little tingle, that little kind of, even if you only felt like a kind of lightness, that is energy, and that is the vibrational match for what you want to attract. So say you want to attract this is your dream clients, whatever, and it's vibrating at 30 hertz, and you over here saying I want, you're vibrating at 20 hertz. So you're saying I want 20 hertz, this is what you actually desire, that's vibrating at 30 hertz. It's not going to come near you, it's going to pass you by, or it's going to move further away. Or what actually happens is this: as you move forward, it moves forward. Because wanting is in the future. Wanting is always in the future. I want, I wish I had, versus I am, I have. I have a purple horse lorry. I have 10 new students every day. That brings you closer to the vibrational frequency because the purple horse lorry already exists. The 10 new clients already exists. We need to bring it towards ourselves. And it may seem so simple as just changing the words, but you will have felt how your energy, your body changed simply by you changing what you said. I say when we actually create resistance. And when we say things like, oh, I'll be happy when I've lost the weight. I'll be happy when I've got my dream job. I'll be happy when I've met my perfect partner. No, you won't, because then you'll find something else to wait. It's tuning in to the energy of that which we desire right now so that we can bring it closer and say, I want. You just literally, as you're moving, you're working so hard, you're doing all the stuff, but you're pushing it further and further away. It's like an invisible force field. And this was something that I struggled with so much. About getting into that kind of like that vibration, that excitement. I really, really struggled. One of the ways that I manage, and I still do this now, is I set intentions. So every morning I've got a bit of paper in my bathroom, and I actually sit on the toilet and I do this. And I've got like sentences. Like the first one is, I am so happy and grateful that I'm excited about. Today I choose to experience, and there are a couple of others. So I am so happy and grateful because these may be things that I actually already have, or the things that I desire. So it might be, I am so happy and grateful that I'm full of energy and that I am attracting my dream clients. I am making it an is, not a I want. Now, if I just say, I'm so happy and grateful that I might be attracting my dream clients, not the same. I'm so happy and grateful that I am attracting my clients. And it takes faith. And we will be talking about self-limiting beliefs and breaking through those. I can't remember what day now, but we will be talking tomorrow, to get rid of those. But saying, I am happy and grateful for what I want to be true. So for a while ago, last year actually, I had a horrendous experience with the HRT, and I felt awful for a good few weeks, really tired, anxious. Anyway, as I started to get better, I just kept doing the affirmation. I'm so happy and grateful that every day I feel better and better. I'm so happy and grateful that every day I feel better and better. So it's not kind of lying. It's not like lying. It's not fake it till you make it. It's knowing that what you desire is possible. It's not completely impossible, and you're attracting it to you. You're attracting it to you. So that's the first thing. So I'm so happy and grateful. I'm so happy and grateful that I am signing up new clients today. I'm so happy and grateful that I feel so energized. I'm so happy and grateful that lots of ideas come to me. I am excited about. Now you may think, oh, life's a bit mundane, blah, blah, blah. What could you be excited about? I am excited about the fact that there are hundreds of people out there who want to work with me, because there are. I haven't met them yet, but that doesn't matter. That does not matter. They are out there. So I can be happy and excited about the fact that there are hundreds of people who want to work with me. They may not know it yet, but there are. So, and as I go through that, today I wish to experience excitement. Today I wish to experience curiosity. So today I wish to experience playfulness. So rather than like, oh God, oh God, what am I going to do today? Oh, I am giving my body, mind, spirit an instruction of how I want my day to go. Rather than letting life happen to me, I am giving a direct instruction of how I want my life to be. So you could write something out like that for you, that you read every day, that you set your intentions to how you, it's like programming in your GPS. You're deciding where you want to go today, rather than just getting in your car and just seeing where it takes you. Because that's how most of us spend our life, by getting in our car and just seeing where it directs us. But setting intentions is one of the ways where you are setting the GPS. You know where you want to go. It doesn't matter how you get there. The route doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter exactly when you're going to get there, but you know where you're going. And you can have your own form. You can have your own, word it your own way, but have it as I am. Not I will be so happy. Not I will be so happy and grateful when, but I am happy and grateful. I am happy and grateful that today I get to share this program with you guys, because I know It is full of value. I know that it can change people's lives. I am so happy and grateful that I am attracting clients that will want to do the full length program. I am so happy and grateful that I'm going to have an amazing evening tonight, rather than, oh, I hope people like it. Oh, I hope da 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 da. You see the difference? See the energy. It's not just what you're saying. It's the energy, the sensations you feel as you are saying them. And that is what is going to attract that which you desire to you. So go back to your list. Go back to your list that I asked you to write on Monday and write them in the present tense. If you're just starting a new business, I am a thriving NLP coach. I am an artist who sells. I'm so happy and grateful that my work sells everywhere. I'm so happy and grateful that I have people signing up to my classes every month. And put it somewhere that you can see it. If you need any help, just give me a shout. And I think that's a lot longer than I was planning on talking. But if you have any questions, please, please, please just drop them down below. And I shall speak to you very, very soon. Get excited. Mwah.